Hello world, this is Michael's Memento, and I'm here to talk about my experience with Diablo 4. There's a lot to get through, and this is probably not going to be very organized at all. So let's get to it. As you can see, I reached level 100 on a Barbarian. This is my only level 100 character, and I actually stopped playing daily after reaching so-called endgame, and I guess we can start there. Endgame, as of right now, this is the current build is version 1.0.4.42942, and season 1 is about to launch in just a couple of days or a few days, and I have very low expectations. And my future prediction in the game, just really quick, I think the game is going to be great after maybe 5 or 6 seasons. That being said, the current state of the game, the end game, there's very little to do. There isn't a whole lot. You can run nightmare dungeons through these nightmare sigils, and they get pretty stale. They're not very what do you want to call it? There's not a whole lot of variety for these maps. I think there's like an actual map layout, and it's not always random per se. It's not like kind of like a pseudo random. There's just small sets of the way the map will be generated, and it's pretty simple to just follow through. It was like, oh yeah, I did this map before. I remember the kind of the layout. And I have not done any Nightmare Sigils past here. I think 52. Maybe the highest is 55 I tried. But I just don't think it's really worth it in my opinion. And on top of Nightmare Dungeons, I mean, the other things you can do, the end game, I mean, technically you can do some PvP. There's only 2 PvP zones as of right now. You can do the events to get Grim Favors. But honestly, doing the Grim Favors, it just doesn't feel very rewarding to turn it into Tree of Whispers and you get a random cash. There's not a whole lot like, ooh, wow, this loot is amazing. I want to keep doing this because I'm going to get some good stuff. You can also do Helltide events that happen every so often in the game. Those are kind of cool. I mean, the mystery chest that you can turn in, the currency that you gain in those events are pretty rewarding. I haven't gotten anything super great, but it's just nice to have like multiple legendaries and possibly a unique. I mean, it's not be a unique that I will actually use, but despite it's a unique that dropped from the chest. And just recently they just allowed was it the most rarest uniques to spawn from those Helltide events. So that is nice. It doesn't really, motivate me to go do that more though, just because of the drop rate. And that's another thing. The like Shaco, it's like the drop rate is beyond ridiculous. Like I probably will never see it. It's like even winning the lottery is a higher chance than getting one of those uniques that are really hard to get. And just to go back to Endgame, there's Legion events, which I honestly don't find myself doing it very often. They're okay. Like if you complete the whole quest line or event, you get 3 chests that spawn, and you just get random drops. That's pretty much it. Plain and simple. Do the thing and get stuff. There's world bosses. I think there's only like 3 or 4 different types of world bosses. And they're all right. Doesn't feel too rewarding when you're leveling up and then you go do your first world boss. That's when it felt like the most rewarding. But when you reach like level 100 or even maybe level 90 or 80, it doesn't feel very rewarding. And drops in particular are just not that rewarding once you reach I don't know, higher than level 75, because you'll get gear that's actually just tiny bit, a little bit better than yours, or you'll just get the majority. You just get worse gear. So it's just like, well, what's the point of these drops? In order to that, for end game, I mean, you can do all the side quests if you want to. You can get all these Lilith statues. You can get all your aspects from the aspect dungeons, which I already did. What else can you do? There's not a whole lot, and that has concern of the current state of the game, but also it allows more room to grow when more seasons come out. They're going to add more events to like just not just for the season, but to the base game, which is nice. So as more seasons come out, we'll have more stuff to do, in the next season, and it just builds upon itself, which is always nice. What else is there to do? I mean, I don't really have a whole lot that I can say more about Endgame. There's not a whole lot. In short, there's not a whole lot. To talk about like itemization, I'm kind of disappointed. It's pretty, bland, and I kind of understand this game kind of, to me, in my opinion, it's like catering to just more casual experience. I played Diablo 3 for like maybe less than a year when it came out or whatever, and I played a bunch of Path of Exile. I don't remember what league I stopped at, but it's a very overwhelming game, and I highly recommend it. As far as depth goes, Path of Exile knocks it out of the park, whereas Diablo 4 really struggles, which is understandable because they're trying to cater to a broader audience, which makes sense. But as far as like items, it's pretty simple. Like you can see what you're gonna get, and there's like just basic stats that you just want. In particular for like Barb, you want like core, actually not core skill damage, but like vulnerable damage, critical strike damage, on top of strength, stuff like that. And then on your like your accessories, you want your like cooldown reduction, fury cost reduction, stuff like that. I guess depending on the build, I'm running a whirlwind barb, so it might be different for different barb builds. But like when you want to like customize the current gear you have, for example, let's just go ahead and buy like let's just buy a ring.
Come back and see us.
By the way, like check in with the town merchants, because sometimes they actually have really good gear that unbelievable stat rolls. Just as FYI, but if you want to re-roll or change something, you can only change one affix on an item. And this is where I don't understand this. So if I enchant this, it costs these Forgotten Souls, which makes you like, it forces you to go do Helltide events. There's no escape, so it's kind of just annoying to go. Okay, you have to go do Helltide events if you want to upgrade or change your affixes on your gear. On top, you need gold, and let me tell you, it costs a lot if you don't roll what you want. It just keeps increasing, which is ridiculous. I mean, the amount it increases is absurd. But like, let's say, hey, I want to roll, I don't know, crit strike chance. So I'll do this. It binds it. Oh, look, we get crit strike chance. And I kind of wish it would tell you what other affixes this item can roll. That would be awesome. It doesn't. I'm sure it's probably data mined somewhere, which makes me, I have to go look on like a third-party website or app or whatever just to go look. Oh, okay, this is the affixes that can roll on this particular item. Whereas I wish it just did that in the game. So I can replace the affix, and then I can also re-roll it. As you see, it was like 50,000 gold. Now it's like, geez, man, that's like four times the cost of the original enchantment cost. That's insane. And you can also, like, if I re-rolled this again, you can re-roll the same affix for a higher numeric value, or sometimes you get like the same. Like I could have just gotten 2, 4, or 5 generations. I've seen that happen, and that's just like, what the heck. And it kind of sucks that you only get 2 options. It's like, really? Can I get more? It's just, I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. And then you can, you can imprint aspects that you got from like the dungeons or from other legendaries, which is really cool, because then you could just like turn this like rare item into a legendary with that, specific aspect, which is really cool. I really like that that choice that we have. And on top of it, you can extract from, a legendary that you got. Like if I wanted to get this Thorns damage dealt, has 80%, I can extract that, and then I can later imprint it on a whatever item I want. And just a little side note, since we're here at the Oculus, here you can craft your sigils for your nightmare dungeons. I did not know this, like, until, I don't know, a couple levels after I unlocked nightmare dungeons. I was like, man, how did I get like higher, nightmare sigils? But you can actually craft some more, use the sigil powders, which you just get like a lot. So it's no problem. You can salvage your sigils if you wanted to get more, what are these called again? Sigil powders. So you can do that, or if they take too much of your inventory. And enchant. So there's the Oculus. The gems, I am kind of surprised. The jewelry, you can only go up to Royal Amphis. Again, I kind of feel like they did it deliberately, because coming from Diablo 3, it went higher than this. I don't remember the exact, gem level, but I felt like, really, you can only go 4 tiers of gems. Again, I feel like they did that deliberately, just to have like content to push out when seasons come out, or just when they want to update the game. It just seems like, oh, hey, we're adding this content that kind of should have been in the game when it came out, but hey, here you go anyway. So pretty standard stuff. You can unsocket, add sockets, upgrade jewelry, all that good stuff. And that is jeweler. Let's talk about inventory, because inventory is, I have no word. It is dumb. Okay, there we go. There's the word. It is dumb. You only get 4 stash tabs right now. That could change. It is most likely going to change. They're probably going to add it to a store and like, hey, you can buy more stash tabs if you want. This is account shared, so you can just put stuff, and then you could, get these elixirs or whatever gear on your other character. Kind of doesn't make sense. I don't know what this space is for. I think they had some kind of use of it at some point, if my memory serves me right. But apparently, they took it out, they scrubbed it, and did not put it out with the base game right now. And you can see, like, it doesn't make sense. A lot of people have already made voiced concerns about, like, why isn't there like a gem bag? Which I'm like, yeah, why isn't there a gem bag? Because there's none. And, you got to put it in your stash tab. And it takes a lot. and even was a stack size like 50, I think. So you can't hoard a whole lot of gems. And on top of that, you can actually put your nightmare sigils in your stash tabs if you want. Like you see, you can put your elixirs as well. You can put these keys. I think these keys actually still work if you keep it in your stash. You got quests, a quest tab here in your inventory, and aspects. You can actually put aspects in your stash too. So, yeah. I wish there was more. And to have like, how big is this grid? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10? 50? 50 items? Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's not a whole lot. And I think when the game first came out, I think they actually increased the amount that you can collect now. It used to be 9,099. I don't know if that's still true. Maybe we'll run like a nightmare dungeon and see if it will go up, or if I'll pick up stuff. But this kind of screen, I don't know. This UI design makes me cringe, or just makes me upset. It's just like, why can't it just be a grid and not like a scroll bar? And why does it have to be here under like your stats? Kind of strange, but it does the job. You get stuff done. So that is the inventory. I kind of wish there was a way to like filter to items. Like, hey, I want to like search and just look through what comes up. Like, hey, filter. Like, if I would type in elixirs, just highlight the elixirs, gray out everything. That would be cool. And it's hard, especially if like I'm trying to like, if I got an item and I'm like, okay, I need to go find this particular item or this aspect that I already have, and compare the values, because I want to, delete or salvage or sell the lower aspect value. It's been really annoying to do stash. What's it called? Stash management or inventory management, just to figure out, I can delete this or sell it or whatever. Really annoying. I wish that was in the game. And I don't know, this sort just doesn't, it's not really that great. It's nice to just, fill the white space or whatever. The blacksmith, you can repair, you can upgrade your weapons and armor. And you can only upgrade, 5 times, looks like? Oh, 6 times. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I can't count. 5. And speaking of salvage, this is the weird thing that doesn't make any sense. You can mark items as junk, but you can't favorite items. You can't lock items. So you can accidentally delete something you really don't want to. Like, if I had like a Shaco in here and I accidentally salvage it, I am SOL. And part, like, yeah, that could be my fault. However, why isn't there an option in the game to lock it, favorite, whatever, to make it not sellable, not salvageable? Is beyond my understanding. So there is that. Again, like I said, check on the merchants. They might have some good stuff, some good rolls on some items, which is kind of funny because like you'll get worse items in the wild. I have not utilized this alchemist very much. I don't craft a whole lot of elixirs. I don't really use a whole lot of elixirs. Especially, playing softcore. I haven't refined these crafting materials, and this is kind of like just doesn't make sense to me. As like, I think the max you can have. Let's see the max you can have 20. Like, why 20? Like, is this just some arbitrary number? They decide to, okay, let's just limit. You can only upgrade 20 at a time, or craft 20 at a time. It's like, what? Um, and on PC, you can actually just copy and paste it, which is thankfully, thank goodness that's you could do that. Jeez, I can't imagine just keep clicking. Um, and it's kind of weird that you can't go backwards. Like, you can't just go, okay, 20 or the max stack that you want to craft. That's kind of strange too. Kind of wish it worked both ways. You can go down and it goes automatically at the max number. So there is that. Craft incense. I have actually don't really use this at all. Maybe I should. It just doesn't feel like I get a whole lot out of it. Maybe I've used once. If you're like an achievement hunter or anything, I think there's like an in-game achievement to use this 100 times or something for your party. So there's that. But it's just cool that, you know, the elixirs, the incense do it too? No, just the elixirs. The elixirs, you get XP bonus, so that's always nice. The incense, they don't give you any more XP. So, and you can use an elixir and an incense at the same time. Questionable. Don't quote me on that, but I think you can. I'm not 100% sure though. If you want another way to get items, you can talk to the purveyor of curiosities, and you just trade in your oobles for these items. When you reach what level, whatever it is, when you get access to ancestral items, you want to just grab the ancestral items. So like this, I would not want to trade anything for because none of them are ancestral. And it's kind of unfortunate. Like, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes. I made this mistake where, like, oh, you have to look for this, like, aura. See how this is, like, got that whatever effect on it. The items in the vendor menu will also have those effects. So none of these are actually going to be ancestral. So there is that. Let's talk about, I guess, world tier, which is just, I don't know, doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, it's cool and all, like, hey, here's harder content. Let's make the game deliberately hard to get, I guess, better loot, more rewards, more gold, blah, blah, blah. I kind of wish you could just switch this on the fly. I don't like the fact that, you have to go to Kyovoshad, talk to the statue, and then change it. It's just super annoying. And I think when you're in a party, all party members have to be in the town or by the tree to change the world tier. Yeah. If you want to get through like the campaign super quick, just you can just do tier 1 and get through the campaign, get it over with. However, if you want to take your time and also feel like you're getting more, I don't know, bang for your buck, I guess, because you get increased XP, more gold, you could go to world tier 2, and then as you level up, go higher if you can handle the monsters. So just kind of strange that, hey, you're kind of forced to, okay, I have to go to Kyoto, change it. Just a little small gripe, just don't understand it. Why can't I just do it in the menus or something like that? What is there? What else is there? The wardrobe, I think this is fantastic. It's not really for me per se, just because I kind of like having my characters just look like, bums or just default look. It's just really cool that they have this. I kind of wish these were shared across. Like, I wish there wasn't. Like, I wish I could wear this particular helmet on a different character. But it also makes sense because there's classes, so we don't want any absurdity, I suppose, or just ridiculous looking characters. But I do like this. However, I don't like this select pigment or the dye system, so to speak. It's kind of like I it's they give you just like a color scheme and it applies that. I wish I had more control to dye certain things the way I want to dye. Um, so there's that too. I like that you have these slots, which is weird. Um, because transitioning to builds and skills we're going to talk about next, it's kind of strange that this is in there where you have this like what do you want to call it, like a template for your armor, but you can't have templates for builds as of yet, which is a pain in the butt if you want to switch different builds. Because my gosh, there is no way to just reset your Paragon boards. You can't even reset one board at a time or by how many nodes you want to reset. There's just no way. So you have to right click each one to refund up to the point where you want it to change, which is just ridiculous. And it's like, for instance, if I wanted to like use this second board that I have here for the last board, I can't do that either. I have to right click, refund everything up to that point, up to the first board, and then I can I have to re-click the nodes I want until this second board becomes my last board, which is kind of, I don't know, I don't have an example of like when or why would you want to do that, but you know, different builds probably have a certain board priority that you want first, second, third, fourth, and last. But it's just bizarre that you don't have any kind of way to reset multiple nodes at once, or the whole entire Paragon board or boards in this case. I'm hoping they have a feature like that. Jeez. Please, Blizzard, if you're listening, please add that. The workaround I made was like, I felt like it was more efficient just to level up another character, another barb in this case, and just play around with different builds and tests. This skill tree, I don't know about this skill tree. It's, I don't know. Navigating through this is just a pain in the butt. I'm on PC, so I have to like move around. I kind of wish it was just one board or like one screen. I still have to, even if I expand it, like, I have to scroll down or, move it around. And this is weird too. The skill tree, you have refund all. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's in here. The ability is there for skills, but not Paragon nodes. Okay, whatever. However, back to the matter at hand, there's no way to save a build template, which just makes, experimenting with different builds, or just to be able to just easily switch to different builds on the fly, just make it just painful to do. So accessibility and that concern is non-existent. And I don't remember how many skills you can have in Diablo 3, but I feel like I feel like I can't put a whole lot of skills. And in specific terms for Barbarian, I feel like where skills are right now, at least I see like different barb builds, and it's like Barbarians are forced to have 3 shouts to be able to do damage, to withstand damage. Like you need 3 shouts. If you don't have the 3 shouts, you're kind of, SOL, because you're going to die or you're not going to do enough damage. So it's like you need it. Because I was trying to do a leap quick barb, and I'm like, I can't get away with these, because these are really good shouts to have. And especially like the higher levels of nightmare dungeons you try out, they're kind of really important. So it's unfortunate for the barbarians. You need 3 shouts. Hopefully that changes with the balancings they'll do in the future. So yeah, I really miss my Leap Quake Barb. It's fun. I know it wasn't the highest, or the most efficient build to run in D3, but it was fun, and I miss that. I don't really know if there's anything else I want to talk about the skill tree. I mean, it's pretty simple. You have to have like specific amount points distributed before moving on the tree. Before, like, in order to get to here the defensive skills, you have to like use a certain amount of skill points in the trees before it, which is kind of annoying because it forces you to like, okay, you can't just spend points wherever you want. You have to meet requirements beforehand. I was like, no, I want to be able to put points everywhere. So maybe they'll expand. I'm thinking they'll probably expand the skill tree at some point. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see what happens. There's just room. There's a lot of room to improve. And going back to Paragon, I was kind of expecting infinite Paragon, just come from Diablo 3. I actually like that way. How they had it was like, oh, infinite Paragon. On this again, this is something they may or may not add to the game later. I just like that infinite power scaling, and it just felt like, okay, your character is just going to get stronger. Like, that's awesome to work toward, especially end game. Just like, okay, there could be like no items, but however, I can just keep increasing my power, defensive abilities, and whatnot. Whereas in this game, it's like, okay, there's no infinite Paragon levels. Right now, it's like 50 Paragon levels. That's it. Which just makes it like, okay, what am I working toward? Because at the end game, really, it's just optimal itemizations that you're trying to get. It's like, I need the best rolls on gear. So there's that. Let's go back to Nightmare Dungeon. We'll pop one up here and do a really easy one. Let's level 47 one. And they just recently added this too. Like, you weren't able to teleport to the dungeon. You had to walk from the dungeon or from wherever you are, from the town nearest waypoint or whatever, to the actual Nightmare Dungeon. And thankfully, they recently added, okay, you can travel. However, this is where that kind of doesn't make sense. I think they just quickly implemented this in the game, which is understandable. However, I have to have an extra loading screen because it teleports you outside, right outside of the Nightmare Dungeon, which kind of doesn't make any sense, but hey, it works. So let's let this Nightmare Dungeon load. And this is actually a pretty bad one to do. And hopefully we'll find something in here that I can talk about. Like, these Nightmare Dungeons usually have like an events built in, or events inside that you can do, participate, which is just like, why do them? There's certain ones that are just like, okay, it's not that bad. Ready yet. But there's a lot of them where it's like they are bad. So as you see here, I'm getting drops. I wish there was a way that you had like a pet that would just pick up stuff for you. I kind of have to pick up all the loot myself. I wish the gems would just go in your inventory automatically. Kind of makes sense that they don't, because there's no dedicated inventory slot for them as of yet.
My savior.
Which is weird because they're gonna take like until season 2, season 3 to implement that in the game, which is like, what?
I must wait.
I don't understand why it's gonna take that long, but okay. It will be here regardless. This is why I said Like my prediction is like the game will be great by the time
bless
season
you.
5, 6 comes out. Hopefully. Even this like this
Not
kind of
ready
like
yet.
dungeon thing requirement that you have to do to actually fight the dungeon boss is like I don't like this. Like, oh, I have to go free the prisoners. It's like, okay. And it's just annoying because like you can do the
Not ready
action
yet.
and then the enemies can interrupt you. It's just like, okay, I have to clear the enemies first before, you know, freeing or interacting with the prisoners, which is super annoying. I'm picking up some rawhides,
Bless you.
so I'm actually exceeding that amount now, which is really nice. Where's the rawhides? I'm blind. Right here, 10k. So yeah, it goes higher than 9,999 now.
I must wait.
Oh, let me talk about these shrines that you get. Sometimes you get these shrines where it's like, okay, hey, it's a tease.
I must wait.
You actually have to work for it. I'm like, dude, I don't want to work for it. Like, getting a shrine should be exciting, not like, oh, I really don't want to do this. Because now I have to like kill waves of enemies. It's just like, I don't want to do that. I want to just get the shrine and feel like, oh, I discovered some awesome power,
I'm
or
not
just
ready
like
yet.
good power that I can use to help me clear out the dungeon faster. Nope, it's like, okay, well, you have to do this first before you can get it. And sometimes it takes a long time. It's just
I'm
like,
not
dude,
ready
I don't want
yet.
to do that. So just getting through this. Now we gotta go use this key, open this.
I must wait.
And this is another event I just do not enjoy doing this one. It's like, okay, you gotta clear all the enemies. It's like, really? I don't want to do that. It's not fun. It's like why? Why do I have to clear the enemies? But a little neat trick
not
for
ready
these
yet.
slay all the enemies ones. You don't have to like kill every single one that you see on the path. So I'm just gonna deliberately skip some, and hopefully at the end,
must wait.
what happens is like the monsters or most of the remaining monsters will teleport to your location. Which is really nice, because I didn't learn that
must wait.
maybe after, I don't know, 15 or 20 Nightmare Dungeons. I was like, oh, you could do that? It's like, wow. And the game doesn't tell you that, as far as I'm concerned. See, and I just wish there was like a way to like gather loot easier.
I'm not ready yet.
And there's no loot filter, so coming from Path of the Exile, I'm just like, dude, there's no loot filter. I want to like only pick up or view items that have like particular stats. I don't think they're gonna add that in the game, but you know, who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us. So yeah, now we're finally at the boss after we completed killing all the enemies in that area. Now we can just do this. Really cool.
My bags are full.
And my bags are full. So now I can just upgrade any glyph I want. Oh, looks like I didn't upgrade this. You can just right click this. You actually don't have to like, whatever, click the upgrade or allocate XP. So there's that. I mean, like, look at all the loot I get. Like, this is not fun. This is a level 100 gear, and it's worse than what I have. It's just like, why is this dropping? Doesn't make any sense. Like, level 100 gear should be like always better than anything below it. Doesn't make any sense to me. But you know, it is what it is. It's how the game is. It's unfortunate. But yeah, there is that. So I'm just gonna quickly just mark stuff junk. And was this actually good? No. Okay. Everything else was pretty decent. Oh, let me save that and then I'll just salvage it. Teleport back to town. Oh, another thing about like waypoints, like towns, like why do I have to teleport to this town just because the dungeon was in this part of the map or region? Like I kind of wish I was like able to just set like a waypoint as my home waypoint, because some towns they have just ridiculous amount of distance between merchants. I'm like, dude, I want to be in and out of the town. I don't want to spend all my time in the
This
town
I
trying to
can sell.
navigate and get to, who I need to talk to. Like dude, the purveyor of curiosity is way over there. Like, what? Just to get over there, I gotta walk over there or use my mount. Come on. Like, really? Another thing too is like you
I
can't
can't do
even
that here.
use your spur or whatever sprint key with your mount in town. Like, why? Why is that like? Why is that disabled in town? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand. But hey, at the end of the day, it is what it is. So there's that. So we didn't run in any events in that nightmare dungeon, but there's like a few, like there's just like, why am I even doing this one? Like the one where you have to like defend this dude, or I mean not really defend. Actually, there's like there's a couple or a handful where it's like, oh, defend these 3 NPCs before they die to get like the bonus rewards for the event. I'm just like, dude, I'm not gonna do it because the NPCs just die. And it's like, well, what was the point of that whole thing? So usually when I get those kind of things, I just run away. I just like, okay, I'm ignoring this because it's like just boring
Good
or
salvage.
not worth it. On top of like when I was talking about the shrines, like when you get a shrine that, oh, you have to kill waves of enemies before you can, use the shrine. It's like, okay, let me just go do other stuff in the dungeon, and then I'll come back and go get the shrine, because it's like I'm not gonna waste my time doing that when I can go clear the dungeon or progress in the dungeon. And there's other events in there too. There's like the one where you have that like ghost. It's like a Helltide event, or not Helltide event, world event too, where you have to like not really escort because you don't have to defend the person, but you have to like kill monsters after you get to a certain points. Like for instance, like, oh, the NPC is standing here where I'm standing, and then it will go through like a series of movements and like go here and then spawn enemies. Okay, gotta kill that, and then the guy, you have to walk with the guy because you have to circle and you gotta follow the guy or escort him, and then he goes to a different spot and then spawns more enemies, killed the elite or whatever, and then goes to a different point, and so on and so forth until the quest or the event's over with. Which is, I don't know, it's painstakingly annoying. It's not fun after you do it, I don't know, 10 or 20 more times. It's just like, dude, can I just like be here wherever I want, kill enemies, and then get it done? That's why I like the the Jar of Souls events. That one's pretty fun because you can be anywhere, kill the monsters, and that'll be the end of it, and you get the reward at the end. It's plain and simple. Other than that, there's a way just to talk about other stuff. Like you can mark your map, which is really cool. Sometimes this GPS is just like, what? That doesn't make any sense. So I don't know if they fix this. So let's go. Where is that town I'm looking for? I am blind. Oh, we go here, right? So for example, we'll go here to the Imperial Library waypoint, and I want to know if this still works the way I think it still works. I'm just an example, just because I did this a lot. So like, if I want to click this dungeon, because this was a nightmare dungeon, look at this. This path does not make any sense because you can actually go right here and go there. Even then, like, look at this. This is making sense. Like, this even tells me like, hey, go here. So just some nitpick. I don't understand why is it mapping it this way, or showing a path that way when you can clearly go this way. is just like inside a I don't know, it has like a roof or whatever. So it doesn't make any sense where it's like, oh, I'll mark the dungeon and it's telling me to go all the way around. So it's just some like issues with that. That doesn't make any sense. Using your mount in the real world, that's another thing players and myself are just like, this doesn't make any sense. Like if I go off my mount right now, I can't get on my mount. There's a cooldown. Like what? Like you what, mate? Like doesn't make any sense. And I think this is a function that you can do on PC. I don't know if you can do this on consoles. I don't think you can. But you can actually, the further your mouse cursor is, the faster your mount goes. Which is like, why is that even in the game? Why can't my mount just go like just one consistent speed? Why does it have to be determined on my mouse, like my mouse distance from my character? It's cool, but like when you're just traveling around the world and getting around quickly as you can, it kind of gets annoying.
I need time to do that.
You know, the aesthetics of this game is just it's wonderful. I mean, look at this. I mean, coming from Diablo 3, this game looks more serious, not cartoony. The world, the environment, the aesthetics they did very well in. I mean, look, my character after killing, like, I got more like, you know, demon blood on me. That's so freaking cool. That's badass. It's just like doing stuff end game. There's not a whole lot, and I mean that's typical for like ARPGs when you have like seasonal content. It's like, okay, take a break before like season 1 or 2, 3 comes out. Play something else. Come back when a season comes out. Which is, you know, that's normal. It's common. Happens a lot in Path of Exile. It's like, oh, season, or it's like, oh, I'm not really particularly interested in the season. I'll come back on different season. So you can do, you know, whatever you want to do. It's just kind of disappointing that there's not a whole lot to do right now. And just again going back to what I first said in the beginning, it's like this game's probably gonna be great when season 5, 6, or even 10 comes out. Hopefully, one can only hope. So we'll see, and I'm hoping there will be like more areas to like discover or go to. Like this map is cool and all. However, I'm kind of disappointed. I'm just like, how come we never actually have like an area to go to, like go to hell or hell heaven? I don't know if that has to do with story. I didn't really pay attention to story. The cinematics are awesome though. So it's just kind of weird. You don't even have like a nightmare sigil where, okay, you're gonna go kill demons in hell, or in like heaven that's taken over by demons. Again, I kind of think like that's deliberately planned so they have content to release. It's just kind of unfortunate it's not in the base game. So as of like right now, the game's okay. It's not mind-blowing or whatever. Again, I did stop playing when I hit level 100. I'm not playing like every day. It's just like, okay, I'm not even doing the world bosses each week. I'm just playing different games before season 1 comes out. And my expectations for season 1 is just extremely low. I think like I'm just gonna keep repeating myself. Like the game's gonna be probably way better when season 5, 6, 10 comes out. Hopefully. So yeah, those are my thoughts for Diablo 4, my experiences. A little bit of prediction there. I just wish there was just more to do. Doing these strongholds for the first time. I don't have any on my map that I can show because I did them all, but that was really cool to clear out. And then you get a waypoint. That was really cool. The open world's all right. Just, you know, particular events are just used again in the nightmare dungeons. Kind of wish there was just again, just more to do, more to see. People are still trying to figure out there's a secret cow level, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping season 1 turns out to be better than, what they shown. I'm just hesitant and just have my expectations just set super low. So that'll be it. Those are my thoughts, experiences, and somewhat of a prediction. Anyways, guys, I hope you have a lovely day. Take care. Bye-bye.